Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Barnstable, Unitarian Universalist, where love guides us. We acknowledge that our church and lands rest upon the unceded ancestral territory of the Wampanoag peoples, who have lived and been sustained in this territory for over 12,000 years. Here, we celebrate the participation and presence of people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and gender nonconforming. Here, Black Lives Matter. Here, we lift up the climate crisis in which we find ourselves and promote the values of a sustainable planet. Here, we uphold democracy and civil rights. If you are visiting us or watching us online, I extend a special welcome to you. It isn't easy to come to church with people we don't know or to connect in a manner that is so technical. We appreciate and welcome your participation at any level. If you'd like to know more about Unitarian Universalism or this congregation, please fill out the guest card that you'll find in the pew rack in front of you and hand it to an usher or to me. If you're online, you can fill out the Contact Us form, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. We are a welcoming congregation of and for all ages, working for justice and compassion in our world, and encouraging spiritual growth and thoughtful dialogue. If you are online, I invite you to think of ways to welcome others in cyberspace. If you are here in person, I invite you to rise and embody your spirit and greet one another. Good morning. I forgot to do this. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Reverend Dr. Kristen Harper. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I call your attention to the announcements in the order of service. The Justice for All meeting is this coming Wednesday at 12:30 in Warren Hall. Please come. Bring a lunch and work with us on our justice endeavors. We would like to get name tags for everyone who would like one. It's one of the ways we recognize regular visitors, friends, and church members. Unfortunately, the circular name tags we used to use are no longer sold. So we decided to redo everyone's in a new format. If you haven't received your new name tag and would like one, please fill out a guest card and let us know you want a name tag. Some people did get missed, I've been hearing, and we don't want to miss anyone who wants a name tag, so please fill out a guest card and just write name tag on it. Every year, we ask individuals to pay dues to the Unitarian Universalist Association for being a part of an association of congregations that works for justice, freedom, and religious tolerance. If you haven't paid your dues yet, please send in $100 per individual to the church, made out to UCB with dues in the memo line. This Thursday at 1 o'clock, there'll be time set aside for anyone who would like to gather on Zoom and get grounded in our faith and values in order to persevere during this time in our country of great anxiety and confusion. The hour-long time will be moderated by me, and will give people a chance to check in and center down. The Zoom link is in your announcements. Thank you. Argyros, will you light our chalice this morning? Thank you. In times of feeling powerless, in times of hopelessness and fear, in times of great need, in times of great sorrow, we gather together. Together we find strength to continue on. Together we find courage to stand up to tyranny. Together we survive and move forward, committed to our mission of love and justice for all. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join me in the affirmation in unison, which is printed in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant together. Please join me in the children and youth affirmation, also printed in your order of service. We believe in unity. We believe in community. We believe each of us has the power to make a difference in the world. Our opening hymn is in your gray hymnal. It's number 123, Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Please be seated. Now is the time, the moment, the place. I invite you to rise in quiet, to think about what has been weighing on your mind, what has been stretching your heart, to come down the center aisle in two lines, holding that weight, that stretch in silence, picking up a pebble, focusing your thoughts and transferring them symbolically to the stone, and place it deliberately into our community waters of hope and compassion. Martha Campbell, will you help me, please? I have one sorrow and one joy to share. The sorrow is that Lowell Massey, who's one of our archivists, had a stroke this week. He is Mark Nichols's spouse and is in ICU right now. He is holding his own, and if you want to send Mark cards or emails, that's fine. He right now does not want phone calls, and he's not in need of anything, but he said he would let me know as soon as he can see something that we can do. And then a joy that I wanted to add, I didn't ask if I could do this, but Kathy and Dean Bryan's daughter, Dara, had a little baby girl, Sloane Elizabeth. And so we add a pebble for her and Dara and them. And a final pebble for all those joys and sorrows too scary or too private to lift up at this time. Thank you. Please join me in a moment of prayer and reflection. These words are by Kolani Kasela, a Black UU military chaplain. Spirit of life, we need help. We are a nation in mourning, a nation full of rage, a nation filled with pain and grief, a nation confused and on the brink of being anesthetized by the toxicity of the moment. We need help. We need help to find our way through the turmoil that turns people against each other instead of turning towards each other in love. We need help to see that little good ever comes out of viewing each other as the other. Only when we find our common humanity can we coexist peacefully and with loving kindness. We know the kind of world we wish to live in, a world where all children are safe and healthy and happy, with opportunities to grow up and old. A world where violence is not an accepted response. A world where we take care of those who need our love and attention. A world where struggle and pain are accompanied by compassion and care. A world where everyone embodies their worth. May we work for it to be so. Amen. The first Sunday of the month, we collect a split plate offering where the monies collected during service go half to a nonprofit whose mission aligns with our own. This month and next month, split plate goes to the Association to Preserve Cape Cod. APCC has helped restore natural resources in every town, procured better environmental policy at the county, state, and federal level, and brought in millions of dollars to improve, protect, and preserve the Cape. During this time when funding is being cut on every level, our gifts, however much they are, can really help this vitally important organization. Please give as generously as you can. The morning offering will now be received. body or spirit and join me in the dedication and offering doxology printed in your order of service.
Good morning. It's great to be with you this morning. As many of you know, my name is Jen Shattuck, and I am the assistant in our children and youth program, which means I am typically downstairs with our kiddos, but today I have the great good gift of being here with you. And today I would like us to start by closing our eyes together as we feel comfortable. I'm going to invite us to think of a time when we felt really, really loved. Maybe it was a time when we spent a few moments with someone who is special to us. Maybe it was a time when we were struggling or feeling low, and someone was there for us, holding us in comfort and care. I invite us to sit together for a moment with how that feels in our bodies, to remember what that means to be loved. You can go ahead and open your eyes now. I don't know how that felt for any of you, but when I do that, it feels warm in my body right here in what we in our Children and Youth Center call our heart center. There's a little flame that starts in here, a little flickering bit of warmth, of loving kindness. And some of you may know there's a practice that invites us to stay with that warmth, that loving feeling, that loving kindness. And that practice comes from Buddhism. It's called metta, which literally means loving kindness. And it was taught over 2,500 years ago by the Buddha to his followers. The Buddha taught that if we want there to be peace in the world, that peace begins in us right here, with that little flickering flame of loving kindness right here in our heart center. There are many different ways to engage in metta practice, a few different sets of words, but the words that I was taught are, may I be happy, may I be safe, I love myself, may I be at peace. The Buddha taught that we can start metta practice there with ourselves, extend loving kindness and compassion and peace to ourselves, and then we can extend it outward, pardon me, in concentric circles to reach the whole world. I have a sign here. Let's see if I can pick it up and hold a mic at the same time. This is a sign with a few of the metta words on it. Our Children and Youth Director, Don McKechnie, made this sign for me and my family almost a decade ago. It lives in my office at home as a reminder to practice metta. And I'm going to invite us now to practice metta together. the words that we will say, this doesn't have all the words on it, they wouldn't all fit on this sign. We start with, may you be happy, may you be safe, I love you, may you be at peace. So we're going to practice this together. I will say the words, and then you can repeat them back to me. So we're going to start with ourselves. And you may close your eyes now. You may put your hand over your heart center, whatever feels good to you. We're going to nurture that flickering flame of loving kindness within ourselves. May I be happy. May I be safe. I love myself. May I be at peace. Now we're going to extend that flickering flame, that little bit of loving kindness outward to someone that we know. It can be someone here in our space. It can be someone who is distant but that we think of often. Let us say our loving kindness words again. May you be happy. May you be safe. I love you. You got it, I hear you. May you be at peace. All right, now we're going to extend that loving kindness out to someone that we do not know, someone who is a stranger to us. May you be happy. May you be safe. I love you. May you be at peace. Now, this is the trickiest part of metta. If you've done metta before, you know that you extend it all the way out, not just to ourselves, not just to people that we know, not just to strangers, but to people that we do not understand or get along with. Sometimes this is framed as enemies. I invite us to think of someone now who we're having trouble understanding, getting along with. Could be someone we know, could be some people who are showing up in the news a lot. Let us say loving kindness for those people. May you be happy. May you be safe. I love you. May you be at peace. I invite you this coming week, when you're feeling a little off balance in some way, you could be struggling with what's happening in the world around us. You could have just had a really tough day. I invite you to come back to that little bit of loving kindness inside of you and say metta for yourself, and then extend it out and out and out and out and out as far as you can go, so that we are cultivating peace in ourselves and also in the world, as the Buddha taught. Thank you.
I invite those of you who are going to the Children and Youth Center to do so now. The rest of us will stand and sing hymn 413, Go Now in Peace. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Please be seated. Our reading this morning is If There Is to Be Peace by Lao Tse. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. It's challenging to find peace in the heart these days. I frequently feel as if I'm being assaulted, one blow after another, challenging everything I know, everything I counted on, everything I value. I was encouraged this past week to update my passport and move myself and my adopted family to Canada. But I don't want to move to Canada. It made me think about the Jewish people in Nazi Germany who couldn't or didn't leave in spite of all the warning signs. Now, please don't mistake me. I'm not suggesting that we are in the same situation, but the way things are going makes one think. American Buddhist teacher and author Jack Kornfield shares a story found in the Gospels, where the apostles get trapped in a sudden and wild storm on the Sea of Galilee. When the first wave rose and then the boat began to rock, the apostles worked hard and with hope in order to survive the storm raging around them. But then they lost heart and allowed the storm outside to come inside. It's easy to imagine the apostles as frantic, disconnected, out of control. In their desperation, they awaken a peaceful Jesus who questions their faith and calms the storm by projecting his inner stillness, his inner harmony, his inner peace. Sometimes we peacemakers are more like the apostles, says Kornfield. We have allowed the war around us to become part of us. Too often we only worsen the situation by projecting fear and guilt and despair. What we want to do, he says, is have that still center that nothing can disturb. In that way, we are true peacemakers, persons who project peace wherever we go. I wonder how many times I have acted like the apostles. Allowed the war around me to become part of me. How many times have I let the anxiety of the day consume me? Let my frustrations and feelings of helplessness dictate my behavior towards others, or cause me to have unreasonable fear of others? I know I struggle not to allow my anger at what's going on in our country cause me to look with suspicion and blame my neighbors. Every time I drive down my street and see that Trump flag on one of my neighbor's driveway poles, I grit my teeth and have unworthy thoughts of retribution, hoping they get the worst of what they have wrought. This is unworthy. If Lao Tse is correct, if Lao Tse is correct, that world peace starts with inner peace. How do we define and develop that inner equilibrium? How do we welcome and project peace? From what I read of Christian, Buddhist, and Hindu scripture, I understand that peace is not a state of being, not a place at which we arrive, but rather a way of being. a way of living in the midst of things. In Hinduism, there's a word for peace which is shanti. In its most popular expression, I understand that it's actually the equivalent of hello or goodbye. In the form Om Shanti, it means peace be with you. Shanti comes from the same root as healthy, heal, and whole. God is spoken of as Shanti, wholeness. For the ancient Hindu seer, the term Om Shanti spoken thrice refers not only to the health or wholeness of the individual, but also the health of society and the universe as a whole. It speaks of wholeness of authentic human life, the wholeness of being part of the cosmos, of the divine. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shalom, the Hebrew word for peace, has a similar meaning. Rabbi David Zaslow, in his January 2004 blog, wrote, "Contrary to popular opinion, the Hebrew root word shalom does not mean peace, at least not in the English sense of the word. It comes from the Hebrew root word that means wholeness. In the Hebraic way of thinking, wholeness is the joining together of opposites. Peace is the knowledge that all my opposing energies are somehow linked and part of a single whole. True peace has wholeness at its foundation." Rabbi Zaslow further explains, if I'm a political left-winger, I'm only flying with one wing. If I'm a political right-winger, I am only flying with one wing. Yet it takes two wings for an eagle to fly. It takes the integration of two opposing positions for there to be real shalom. I have a vision of our country right now as a bald eagle with two broken wings. Balancing opposites is tricky, but like the yin and yang symbol, it is possible. Sharon Salzberg, the columnist and Buddhist teacher, tells a story about leading a retreat where one of the participants expressed that she was, quote, haunted by the rage she was feeling. I'm bitter, I'm angry, and I'm afraid. It seems like I feel only those three things. Salzberg suggests that perhaps the woman could go back to her gratitude practice. Having gratitude doesn't need to be seen as covering over difficult feelings or smiling prettily as we slip further and further into passivity and ultimately despair. It's quite a radical practice. Salzberg calls gratitude one of the most subversive qualities, as it conditions us to recognize the most essential elements in our lives, rather than focusing on our fears, noise, and incidentals. By finding gratitude for what we have, instead of focusing on what is missing, we break the dominant cultural norm of scarcity and want. Our restless, competitive world shames us when we say we are grateful. The perspective gratitude brings separates us from the marketplace and culture, induce cravings for more and more. Living with gratitude means that those forces can't make us feel bad, sell us things we don't want or need, or make as many demands on our attention. This becomes the resource out of which we seek change and take action. There is a part of me that recognizes that the first step to peace is learning to acknowledge to myself my sadness about my feelings of hopelessness and my anger at my feelings of helplessness. While I know it might feel better just to put my head in the sand and pretend that all this harm to our people, our country, our world, our earth is not happening, I also know that pretending will not save me. The trick is to learn to stay still with the anxiety, not rush to a solution, not fix the fears, but to first stay present to it. Breathe in its presence and wait, holding the feelings until they settle. There is a story about how once the Buddha was walking from one town to another town with few of his followers. While they were traveling, they happened to pass a lake. They stopped there, and the Buddha told one of his disciples, "I am thirsty. Do get me some water from the lake there." The disciple walked to the lake. When he reached it, he noticed that some people were washing clothes in the water, and right at that moment, a bullock cart started crossing through the lake. As a result, the water became muddy, very turbid. The disciple thought, how can I give this muddy water to the Buddha to drink? So he came back and told the Buddha that the water that's there is very muddy. I don't think it's fit to drink. After about a half hour, the Buddha asked the same disciple to go back to the lake and get him some water to drink. The disciple obediently went back to the lake. This time he found that the lake was absolutely clear. The mud had settled down and the water above it looked fit to be had. So he collected some water in a pot and brought it to the Buddha. Now the Buddha looked at the water and then he looked at his disciple and said, "See what you did to make the water clean? You let it be. And the mud settled down on its own, and you got clean water. Your mind is also like that. When it's disturbed, just let it be. Give it a little time. It will settle down on its own. It will happen." So perhaps we need to stop struggling against all the turmoil in our hearts to sit and embrace what is. Let it wash over us and settle. Maybe that still small voice within can be heard if we just center down. The late African-American theologian Howard Thurman wrote, "How good is it to center down, to sit quietly and see oneself pass by. The streets of our minds seethe with endless traffic. Our spirits resound, clashing with noisy silence, while something deep within hungers and thirsts for the still moment and resting low. With full intensity we seek, ere the quiet passes, a fresh sense of order in our living, a direction, a strong sense of purpose that will structure our confusion and bring meaning to our chaos. We look at ourselves at this waiting moment as we listen. There is a sound of another kind, a deep note, which only the stillness of the heart makes clear. It moves directly to the core of our being. Our questions are answered with the peace of the eternal in our step. How good it is to center down. Vietnamese Tien Buddhist monk and peace activist Thich Nhat Hanh offers this short meditative poem to recite in times of anxiety to center down. Breathing in, I calm body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is the only moment. Again, breathing in, I calm body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is the only moment. In the traditions that utilize meditation, calm alone is not the only goal of the practice. While relaxation may be one of the positive byproducts of meditative state, the goal is often to connect to a wider, deeper sense of self, an acceptance of the self within the cosmic order, and a systematic development of a non-self-centered perspective. In other words, finding a wholeness in the oneness of all. As many of you know, my main spiritual practice is chant. Chanting is one of the oldest forms of spiritual practices. The Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and other ancient Hindu texts were chanted centuries before the religion known as Judaism was formally identified. Yoga practitioner and vocalist Krishna Das describes chant as the caress of love and the cry of ecstasy. It's tears and longing. It's finding and losing and finding again. It's the soundtrack of my life movie that I listen to as I sit back and eat popcorn, watching it all unfold. When we are in love, Das says, our hearts are constantly calling out the name of our lover. Chanting is that calling. Chanting is a vocal sound which raises, praises, connects with, and honors the spirit of life. It is our voices separately and together, rhythmically breathing out, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. But sometimes, as is true right now, gratitude, meditation, and chant do not help me welcome or project peace. And so I come here, to this community, in hope and in frustration, in joy and in sorrow. This I can do. I can take a break from the onslaught of the news and gather with you. As members of a liberal faith, we are called to find inner stillness, not just in isolation, but in the company of others, and strive together to create that peace in the larger community. This is how we might learn another way than war and turmoil. When we come together, we can feel that wounded heart below the anger and fear. We can feel the wounded heart in everyone. With help from one another, we can see that it isn't just liberals who are suffering. It isn't just the Democrats who want a better world than we have yet made. We all want to live without struggle, to have affordable health care and a living wage, to have a home we can take care of, to have support when we are in need and not live in poverty in our later years. When we let go of the blame find our commonalities, and work to make sure everyone is lifted up, that is when we start to dwell together in peace. This isn't easy. So the truth is, when I cannot welcome peace in my heart, when I cannot project peace, I come to you, share with you, to be present with you, to continue to love and find hope with you. Our closing hymn is another meta practice, one sung. It's called Filled with Loving Kindness. We're going to sing it twice, and it's hymn number 1031 in your teal hymnal. Please rise and body your spirit. Just so you know, it starts off with may I be filled, very much like Jen talked about, and then it's may you be filled, and then may we. Breathing in, I calm body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is the only moment. Please be seated.